This week a great number of Bitcoin supporters and skeptics have been arguing over whether or not Bitcoin mining is harmful to the global environment. However, crypto supporters have been saying that concerns over the Bitcoin network's energy supply are absurd, in contrast to the carbon used and the military violence that backs a number of fiat currencies including the US dollar. One could even go as far as to say that the American dollar alone has left boot prints on large groups of humans over the years and desecrated entire countries. Musk and Dorsey still use US dollars when they know the currency leverages massive amounts of carbon and military force. Elon Musk and his electric car company Tesla ignited a ferocious debate over Bitcoin mining and how it affects the global environment. Similarly, the founder of Square and Twitter, Jack Dorsey, added fuel to the argument when his company's CFO said the payment firm has no current plans to buy more Bitcoin, BTC. Dorsey then tweeted that changes everything, for the better, and further added, "We will forever work to make Bitcoin better." However, people have been questioning Musk and Dorsey's stance, as the two have not discussed the carbon used by the US dollar or the military violence that is tethered to the American currency. Despite the dollar's obvious problems, Musk and Dorsey's companies have accepted USD without hesitation. Moreover, Musk himself has been called out over hypocrisy. The popular stock-to-flow creator Plan B shared a photo with Musk of a Tesla car using energy that derived from power stemming from a coal facility in North Dakota. It is well known that the US dollar is tied to violence and manipulation that is bolstered by the military-industrial complex. In fact, most people believe the American military occupation abroad and more specifically in the Middle East has been kept there to maintain the US hegemony and petrodollar. After Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR, quite literally flipped the American economy upside down, global financiers invoked the Bretton Woods Pact, which was the first step in establishing the petrodollar. These days a great number of economists and analysts have said on multiple occasions that the petrodollar and the US hegemony is over. People should ask if Musk and Dorsey have contemplated the proof of work behind the US dollar and the petrodollar's effects on the global economy. It's well documented that the American dollar's consensus algorithm is backed by violent measures and sanctions. The US dollar has made it so America has been a bully of other nations and feels the need to step in as the world police. But environmentalists have added zero concerns about the US dollar and they gladly accept USD to fund their goals. The founder of Watchdog Capital, Bruce Fenton, tweeted about this hypocrisy on Friday. Fenton said, "An M1 Abrams tank uses jet fuel that costs $5 a gallon, 3-10x delivered. It burns a gallon a minute when driving, a gallon every 5 minutes when idle. In Afghanistan, they leave the tanks on all night. The war has been going for 2 decades. Don't at me about Bitcoin energy usage. Study shows the protector of the petrodollar is a bigger polluter than as many as 140 countries." Fenton's critique is quite valid, but people like Elon Musk or Jack Dorsey have yet to address such subjects. The US military, which keeps the dollar going strong, depends on massive amounts of fuel and has one of the largest carbon footprints on Earth. This fact is well documented and the US military cannot escape the massive amounts of carbon it uses on a daily basis. U.S. military spending is greater than the total military spending of the next 7 countries combined: China, Saudi Arabia, India, France, Russia, United Kingdom, and Germany, explains data from Street Smart Economics. In fact, the price we pay for militarism is colossal, but the US government sweeps it all under the rug. This kind of information is readily available, Street Smart Economics author Martin Hart Landsberg details. The military's contribution to global warming is not. One reason is that because of US government pressure, the governments negotiating the 1992 Kyoto Protocol agreed that emissions generated by military activity would not count as national emissions and would not have to be reported. As a consequence, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which produces one of the world's most trusted reports on the rate at which climate change is occurring, does not include national military emissions in its calculations. On June 24, 2019, The website theconversation.com tried to initiate a conversation about U.S. military spending and its carbon footprint. The three authors Benjamin Neimark, Oliver Belcher, and Patrick Bigger show data that indicates the U.S. military is a bigger polluter than as many as 140 countries. The researchers' study highlights how the U.S. military leverages carbon-based fuels more so than any entity in history. The U.S. military is one of the largest polluters in history, consuming more liquid fuels and emitting more climate-changing gases than most medium-sized countries, the researchers' study insists. If the U.S. military were a country, its fuel usage alone would make it the 47th largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world, sitting between Peru and Portugal. There is countless evidence that shows the U.S. military is used to bolster the country's currency and keep it in place as the world reserve currency. Historical records show that the U.S. government's proof-of-work system for the U.S. dollar was not a fairly distributed peer-to-peer currency system. For 300 years or more now, the global elite has manipulated ledgers and created an immoral social and financial ranking system. Elon Musk and the rest of the so-called environmentalists speaking out against the Bitcoin network should really consider what the U.S. dollar has done and what the fiat currency continues to do.